Hey everyone, this is Zan, and welcome back to our multiplayer series as Early Age Mekone. I do apologize that this upload was a little late as there were technical difficulties with the patch. So let's go straight into it. You'll first notice I am just summoning random things just because I am trying to figure out what good summons in Dominion 6 are. So we have Scorpion Beasts. I can kind of show those real quick. And my thought going into Scorpion Beast was that they are easy to summon, even though they're only one at a time, but they do have two armor-piercing stinger or pincer attacks that are high attack skill, pretty good, and a Scorpion Tail, which although it's not armor-piercing, does have a Death Poison Rider on it. And my first thought with these guys was that they were going to be super good anti-thug units. So that was neat. Green Lions, I think I've talked about these before, or at least I talk about them in all of my videos. They're super good in that they have high magic resistance, morale, decent stats. Normally they'd get repelled, but due to the morale they won't. They have some resistances. They're ethereal, but they are not spirit form, so you can buff up their protection. They have high hit points. They have magical attacks. Literally everything about them is fantastic. They have 20 mat move and 0 encumbrance. You can have them either bite people in melee or fire their vitriol breath, which is armor-piercing acid damage. A lot of things are not resistant to that, and it's an area of effect 1. So pretty good. I also summoned Fire Drakes. Again, I think I talked about these before, that I didn't realize that Roos had fire resistance, so whoopsie. I've also summoned some Terracotta Soldiers, just because they do have resistances, and they, they'll do stuff sometimes. And Mechanical Men, just to, again, try them out, revisit them. Nothing super fancy there. Now, moving on, we have some battles. And we will have a lot of battles every single turn. Half of them might just be piddly raids like this, so you'll forgive me if I just kind of go through the report first, and then maybe if it's an interesting battle, we'll go in. So some assassin here, I'm assassinating him, he's trying to assassinate me. He's got Terminus the Assassin with a Robe of Shadows, a Dust Dagger, and some boots. Then we have Stentor the E4 with robes. And it looks like Stentor is probably going to go down in this version of the game. I think yeah, it looks like he just punched him to death in reality. And unfortunately, I was never able to get a good version to view battles. There is a major battle a little down the line, and I found a version that looks kind of similar to my memory of it. And so we're just going to go with the version of the game that supports that large battle. And we'll just do what we can with everything else, right? Here I start fighting Perkunus, and those are very difficult to assassinate because of their bear form. And it's just a lot of raiding. There's Chaos over, and we're fighting over here in Old Tianchi. Obviously, there's a lot of red arrows over here. I have another force moving into Operi. And so this force specifically, I'm summoning a lot of inanimate units, the Sparte. I have the Terracotta Soldiers. I'm doing Legions of Steel. I'm doing Spell Ward, because now, thanks to my posts, we all know now that Rigor Mortis is a magic resistance check. I'm casting a lot of Flame Ward because I'm casting Heat from Hell, and although it won't be too effective in the wintry climate, it's going to completely counteract the effects of Grip of Winter. They cancel each other out. And so we're revisiting Operi while stacking our armies again. We don't want to overcommit just because I don't have really, really good answers to the magic that Roos is fielding. So for now, I'm just medium commitment. I don't want to say it's low commitment, medium commitment forces onto his forts. We're doing a lot of raids, and we're trying to make sure that we always connect a line between all the provinces that we raid, so that way we can actually, profit from it, the gems, the income, all that stuff, rather than it just going to waste, right? With that said, let's move to turn 51. Okay, so here we are on turn 51. And before I do the battles, I want to talk a little bit about Shade Beasts. Shade Beasts are pretty freaking good, and one of the premier summons I discovered in Dominion 6 in this game, and in future games you'll see me use them a lot. So just like the Green Lions, honestly they're just a lot worse than Green Lions, but the fact that you get so many of them per cast makes them super efficient. So again, they have some good resistances. They are ethereal, but not spirit form, so you can buff their protection. They have good morale. They have a magic weapon. Their stats are kind of awful, but they have Spirit Sight and Ethereal and good morale, so it's something, right? They have 26 mat move and 0 encumbrance. That can be useful. They have Dark Power, so if you are casting Darkness as part of your strategy, that is a way to increase their stats by 2, and that'll make them 13-10, which is acceptable, right? The main thing you're getting out of these is just a crap ton of stealthy undead units, and sometimes that's what you need. So in this case, I have a D3 mage, just one of them, spending 15 gems a turn to get me 30 Shade Beasts. 30 Shade Beasts. That's a lot. And so what I've discovered that you can do is actually you give those Shade Beasts to a stealthy leader, or a stealthy undead leader, like a Zotz, and suddenly you have a raiding squad. So with one spell and 2 commanders, I have 2 raiding squads. Pretty freaking nifty, I think. I really like the Shade Beasts. And now we can go to our actual, battles. And again, the same thing. If it looks interesting, we'll kind of dive into it. Otherwise, we'll just move on through. So we have here a Siren is coming in to attack my E4, Thyestes. The Siren has a water bottle, traditional assassin weapon. Okay. Doesn't look really good for me in this one. And once more, yep, it just goes completely off script. In real life, it looks like the water bottle killed the 2 Ectomos, but then died to the E4, which is, sometimes that happens. The Mekone mages do have really good stats if they're not old age, and due to my unaging bless, they tend to not be old age, which is good. Okay, nothing particularly interesting. There's just a lot of back and forth. I'm hemorrhaging hoplites and polymarchs as we continue to just fight everywhere, all the time, every turn. We're moving a minor force now into the Broken Land, and it's kind of imitating the same army that is attacking his fort, just to threaten his other forts. So here, it's kind of unfortunate that Tirnanog is on the Palisade at the Deadlands. That would have been a good target. But otherwise, I can potentially try to march out toward Kepria or somewhere else, through the Silver Woods or through Vongar. We notice he now has a force on the Pepper Plains. It's only 1 commander, though, so maybe I can get lucky and assassinate him, but these Perkunu are just hard to assassinate, realistically. And because they have recuperation, you can't even use, like, a black bow to just kind of feeble-mind them and ignore them. So that's kind of unfortunate. Regardless, we're chilling on O'Perry again. It should break soon. 300 wall integrity, so another turn and that'll break. And yeah, my rating this turn wasn't the greatest, but now with Zotz, we have new squads coming out. We have more Shade Beasts being summoned. I'm forging black bows to help my assassins. I have my feeble-minded adepts in the province with my healers. I think I only have 1 healer. She's doing Call of the Wilds just so that I can spend my nature gems. Maybe it's not like a super efficient way to do it, but it is a way to get nature gems, right? I've got my scout with extra gems and my bag of wine. Ermor is fighting Ulm, which is good because I don't want to deal with this big army. I'm pretty sure Ermor and Roos have chatted a bit to not fight each other, which is, fine. It is what it is. Everyone else, we can all focus on fighting Roos. So Sarmasha's on TNG, which is good. And in Miskia, they just patrolled out Scout. So no big deal. Let's go ahead and move on to turn 52. Okay, and turn 52. Same thing, just Project Self, random summons. We have a battle in the Silver Woods, kind of fails. Project Self ends up not doing anything. I think I was expecting a battle somewhere and it didn't happen. So I just get my butt kicked by Roos again. Some Golem beats up Jade Amazons. We'll hop in there just so we can look at the Golem's kit, right? Because this is something you really want to do when you are in the game, just to find out kind of what strategies your opponents are playing with. So, got a Girdle Might, a Storm Spool, Quickness because he's got 0 encumbrance, got some gems to cast something, and a Wraith Sword so that he also restores fatigue and hit points when he hits things. And he'll be hitting things twice as much due to Quickness. His stats aren't great, but he can likely cast Astral Shield. Yep. So he's got Astral Shield, which is going to paralyze people that attack it. He's also got a Storm Spool, which is going to stun people that attack it. And this is a decent combo when you have low attack and defense skill, because now the units that you're attacking into are stunned. That's pretty good. So, I mean, he's not fighting anything important, but just a bunch of little Amazon mercenaries. But it's a good start, right? Anyways, there is actually a pretty important battle this turn, so I'm going to go straight to it so that I don't skip it. So in Operi, I had this idea of I'm going to counter the same thing that Roos did before, which is Rigor Mortis and Grip of Winter. Just in case, I'm going to be casting Weapons of Sharpness on my hoplites so that once they do actually get to the Pretender in the back, they're going to be able to kill it fairly easily. Obviously, my army is significantly smaller than the previous one, and this is even though there's a lot of mage commitment to it. And so Roos's answer is this Sea King with a bunch of little buff mages. And the buff mages have a bunch of gear on them, which is interesting. And the Sea King is also his prophet. And I didn't mention this earlier, but this turn Roos also cast Gift of Health, which is going to be close to doubling the hit points of the Sea King, who is geared to the nines, notably with a Ring of Regeneration and his own regeneration. So he's at 25% regeneration. Got a lot of protection, a lot of magic resistance, good resistances to everything, because since he is the prophet, he has the bless. And this is not looking good. Look at that, 33 regeneration already. Aura of Bewilderment. That's a pretty strong one from the gnome. Got all these buffs coming in. Protective Winds, Acknowledge. He's going to do his own Grip of Winterplay, which is actually super freaking cool that he can cast it alone, even though he takes damage. But because he has regeneration, it doesn't really matter. It's unlikely he'll Feeble Bind him. He hits extraordinarily hard. He's got a lot of hit points. He's buffed to the nines. He's only weak against Acid, which I do have Green Lions, but are the Green Lions going to do... How much is he regenerating? Are the Green Lions going to do 59 damage a turn? I think not. And because his armor is magical, it's unlikely to rust and break. So this is real bad. So Heat from Hell is countering the Grip of Winter, but it's not necessarily countering the Breath of Winter. Noticing that here with these Cold Clouds. And that can be an issue because I think I did not buff Cold Resistance. Which is kind of unfortunate, because otherwise I think I'd be good here, right? We have these hoplites coming in with Weapons of Sharpness, very high damage magical spears. Got the Green Lions doing their business. Problem is, as soon as we walk into here, we're going to encounter this Frost Cloud. You know, we're going to start doing some damage, right? It's just, are we going to be doing 59 hit points worth of damage a turn? Look at that, we're hurting him. Is it enough? There's a 20 in there. Now my dudes are going to start falling asleep soon. Not looking good, right? Yep, now he's awake, and now that he's awake and he starts swinging, he's going to actually recover his fatigue fairly quickly. Not only because of the reinvigoration, but because of the Ray Sword. Yep. And one good way that I could have potentially killed someone with this high regeneration is through poison. The problem is that he had cast Shroud of Bewilderment, which is going to make these Scorpion Beasts not even get close to touching him due to their 5 magic resistance. Yeah, everyone's just kind of falling asleep. He's blind, so, you know. Let me turn on Team Talented Squares. Sorry about that. And yeah, the issue is just, there's no way I'm going to outdamage. There's no, just, it's not happening. That's too many hit points per turn. With regeneration, this is not the type of thug I was expecting to fight. I was expecting a more protection-based thug. Actually, this at this point, you can say this is a super combatant, not even a thug. So, unfortunately, I get my ass kicked. Again. Very embarrassingly, I lose here, and the saving grace, I guess, is that I didn't lose... I get to keep half my hoplite, and I didn't lose any on me. So that's good. Everywhere else, I kind of get my butt kicked, and Ulm actually comes in and attacks me on both of these provinces. And that's kind of annoying, because you're supposed to be fighting Ermor. So, I guess I'll do just some minor skirmishing with Ulm, but it's not looking good against Roos. I'll be honest. go ahead and turn to turn 53, because right now all we're going to do is just kind of retreat into our forts. We're going to summon more nonsense. We're going to recruit more hoplites and just kind of hope I figure something out, right? And welcome back to turn 53. We're going to start doing more mine hunts. We got Ivy Kings and Mound Fiends now that my conjuration research was hit, and that's going to give me better death magic, better nature magic, and kind of be useful going forward. So again, the rating continues. There's not anything super duper important out of my battles this turn, but this battle here in the White Forest was just another thing I added to my toolkit. So here we have honestly a rather small Soromation army, but it's got some of his sacred, some Inaris, it's got some white mages, it's got the Coatl mercenary. This one's actually one of the better ones because the units it brings are good, and it itself is really good. He's brought a flame spirit to do something, probably flame ward. He got a random gray knight, which is pretty cool. And on the other side of the field, Bruce just has a golem and one dude that cast buffs on him. And what does this golem have? Well, kind of similar kit you saw before, but now he's got this astral stuff on him. And that's very suspicious. So, back up, and we'll come now. And we notice that he has chosen to cast Solar Brilliance. It's not up just yet. This cast here is Howl. Howl's a great spell. Howl's a great spell to use, especially it looks like this is a forest, so you'll get a lot of wolves. But he casts Solar Brilliance, and this is actually super freaking cool. One, he doesn't even have a lot of fatigue on his body. He's buffed to the nines, ethereal, mist form, astral shield, air shield, the usual. His protection probably got buffed a little bit. Who knows? But Solar Brilliance on this guy is actually really freaking cool. Obviously, it's a super high risk play because he's risking 2 boosters. 30 gems worth of boosters. Like, there's a lot of investment on this golem. It's very expensive. And this honestly isn't even the greatest army to use Solar Brilliance on, other than Skelly Spam coming in. But in a traditional army, like if he did this against me, maybe not I think the army that was attacking the fort could have probably killed this golem. Because it's not regenerating, right? I think I'd be able to kill it. But if it jumped on an army that wasn't able to kill him fast enough, he would come in and just blind all my dudes. And yes, I have healers this game, but that healer would be working overtime for the entire game, trying to fix the effects of just being blinded. Now, the magic resistance check is kind of weak, an 8, but I think, and I'd have to test this, I think you can buff it up with items. So like if he had here like a Rune Smasher and an Eye of the Void, it would be a magic resistance check against 12, and that is infinitely deadlier than 8. Infinitely. Because, you see it, it's hitting a lot. It's hitting often. The 16, I think, is Astral Shield, but the 8 is definitely the blindness. And blind, again, for you don't know, it's just a -9 to everything. It also kind of kills undead. Somewhat. I mean, it's 5 armor piercing damage. It's honestly not that big of a deal to most undead, but the blind effect is kind of huge. And the fact that a golem can just hop in anywhere and just do this, I think is super cool, and it's not a trick that I have considered using before. But now this is in my toolbox, and I look forward to doing this to somebody. It would probably be good against nations like Endermania that has low magic resistance troops, or Ulm. Just kind of, you're not killing their army, worse, you're making them useless and forcing the player to continue to pay upkeep on the army. Arguably more damage got done that way. Ulm is also attacking Roos, which is interesting. Okay, Tiernanog loses to Frogs. Kind of unfortunate. Again, there's the back and forth rating is continuing to happen. I find out that Roos also has the Garnet Amazons, so they have fire and blood magic, which... Why not have that, right? Roos is just pinging a throne here. The Monolith Watcher throne is a pain in the ass. And yeah, that was a super cool thug by Roos. Yeah, he's getting attacked here by Ulm. And definitely another addition to my toolbox. I will do that to somebody eventually, probably. Let's do one more. Let's go ahead and do one more and do turn 54. Alrighty, so hopping into turn 54, I continue with Project Self, Shade Beasts, Manifest Vitriol, Minehunt, the usual. And we find an army gathering in the Pepper Plain. Look at all of these. The Daughter of the Sun, a Daughter of Thunder. I think this is a hero, Perkunatet. Mound Fiend, more Perkunus, a lot of Skin Shifters, and Troll Guards. So he's definitely prepping for something. I probably could have done this for cheaper than a Pretender turn to come in here and look at this. Yeah, I come in, I cast Curse, and then I dip. Did I successfully curse anyone important? I don't think so. I probably cursed like a troll or something. Or bear, even. Oh well, it is what it is. But we get to look at his army. So he's got this Mound Fiend, who has nothing really on him. Maybe it got summoned this turn. Um, Earth Magic, Astral Magic, and Death Magic. So this guy can do Rigor Mortis again. So I gotta keep that in mind. A lot of Air Magic and Water Bottles on his Kunus. This guy's got fire resistance, or this girl has fire resistance, and really high air magic. So I think Wrathful Skies might be on the table, which kind of sucks because that's a that's a very strong spell, and he's mostly immune to it with 10 shock resistance, and his units just having a lot of hit points. Meanwhile, at best, I can probably do like 5 shock resistance. Um, so this is not a good fight. 239 hit points. This is not a good fight for this guy with the True Shot Longbow. He is blinded, but maybe if this one had the Bow of Boltooth to feeble mind him, that'd be good. But higher precision, thank God. Imagine he got like unequaled obesity and just healed even more. Unfortunately, yeah, he's gonna get his ass kicked here. I do kill the Hydromancer, which is good. Ancient Forest, just back and forth raids. Okay, so the little Shade Beast raids are going. I'll just kind of pop one out real quick. Just keep the guy in the back. He's going to be casting like Animate Skeleton because he's a shitty mage. And these guys just kind of run forward and beat up, you know, slingers or militia, light infantry, whatever it is. Because they're ethereal, it kind of works out, and then you start getting the soulless. And they're kind of awful, but, I mean, it's something, right? So, that's kind of cool. That group of Shade Beasts runs into a Sea King, not ideal. So he's definitely using these water gems. I don't know from where he got them. And we see an Armorian army, and we can just kind of go see what it looks like. Okay, so he's just copying into a fort. He's got his mages in the back, his dudes up front. Is the fort empty? Yeah, mostly empty. Cast Light of the Northern Star, a lot of Astral Fires. That's a cool spell. Okay. Pretty quick. The Augurs actually killed all of the wall dudes, which is interesting. You don't often see that. Oh, we've got the whole Cryptea going on. And that was kind of quick. I think I'm going to do one more. I can do one more, for sure, for sure, for sure. And welcome everyone to turn 55 of Early Age Home with Early Age Mekone with the multiplayer series. So we have a battle in the Pepper Plain. I kind of just do Arouse Hunger, Arouse Hunger, and combine it with my Project Self. Since they're both in the magic phase, it kind of works out. Yeah, both of them now, which is interesting. Unfortunately, I don't think it really does anything. Oh no, it actually we do win this fight, which is kind of good. And then we have more battles. We actually start casting Seeking Arrow, but I have no idea if that's doing anything for me. Okay, we're just hemorrhaging Polemarchs, hemorrhaging Hoplites. And this is the problem here. So in Walden, which I'll show on the strategic map what Walden looks like, we get a large army from Roos. I kind of just have PE here, nothing particular, so let's just go look at what his army is going to do. So we're going to pull up our F1 menu, press C to isolate it to just the commanders. So we've got an Alkanost who's just here to cast Divine Blessing. Shock and fire resistant because we both know that, well, we all know that they're just going to do Wrathful Skies and Firestorm. We've got 2 Bane Lords. And the Bannerlords are also geared to the nines. Like, such a heavy investment, but you know what? I think it's fine. They're terrifying. They've got the Flesh Eater that's going to make them berserk, increase their natural protection even more, increase their attack skill and their damage even more. It's already ridiculous, but why not add more? And then it's got the Axe of Hate. And normally the poison resistance -15 is a big deal, but since they're undead, they can kind of deal with it. And what Axe of Hate is going to do is it means I'm going to have a hard time doing such an Oracle drop or using any sort of Thug because as this damages them, their fatigue increases. And with this attack skill and this much damage, and maybe even a Weapons of Sharpness buff, these are going to do work. And then they also have just Storm Spools and decent round stats and protection to deal with regular soldiers. I think they're both, yeah, they're equipped kind of similarly. One of them is missing the fire resistance, but I don't think you'll worry about Firestorm because he has so much protection. Here's probably the Firestorm caster. Notice they do have a lot of copper plates for the shock resistance. Yeah. This one looks like it's going to cast like Barkskin, maybe? Or maybe Howl and then Large or something. I wouldn't cast Barkskin if you're doing Firestorm. Maybe. I mean, they have enough fire resistance, it might not matter. We have a Gnome who is super geared up. Here's definitely like Weapons of Sharpness. We have a Golem who thankfully is not going to cast the Solar Brilliance, but probably like Anti-Magic or something. And it's just going to hit things. The Mound Fiend with a Skull Staff, shock resistance, no fire resistance. So this might actually die to Firestorm if they don't buff Flame Ward on it. But it might cast like Rigor Mortis or Darkness. Perkunu, maybe an Arrow Fend? Because I think... Oh, no, the Perkunu, this is Wrathful Skies then, right here. I don't know if he can cast it. I think he might need Power of the Spheres into Wrathful Skies. Same for this guy. Maybe the Storm Power into Wrathful Skies. Because they work together anyways, right? So that's a pretty terrifying thing. Our saving grace, I guess, is that the army itself isn't too large, but there's a lot of bears, and Skin Shifters are really freaking good. They apparently have a lot of experience stars, so they have a lot of XP bonuses. So although these guys are berserkers, once they get blessed, they're going to have 17 defense. Serpent's Blessing. Oh, apparently this I triggered. Wow, here I am trying to guess what spells they're casting, but this Province Defense apparently triggered the gem usage. So, well, don't mind me, I'll just find out what you're doing. You've got Anti-Magic, you've got Serpent's Blessing, so maybe he'll Fall Vapor me, that'd be awful. He's doing Storm, I see Storm Power down here, some Phoenix Power going on. Let's advance to the next round in a second. Marble Warriors, Steel Slice Warriors, Furious Warriors. Okay, Darkness. Darkness comes up, but if he does Darkness, he shouldn't cast Firestorm. He casting Firestorm. Again, if you don't already know, Firestorm technically brightens up the battlefield and reduces the level of darkness by 1. So instead of a -6, you'll have a -3. And if you have Solar Eclipse or you're in a cave, Firestorm will drop it from 3 to 1. Okay, so here he's doing Fog Warriors as well, which, I mean, Fog Warriors is going to be nifty in that it's going to make it so that the first hit that my Hoplite does, it is a magical weapon, so it's going to remove the Mist Form. But all it's going to do is piss off the Chewed. It's going to trigger their Berserk value. And they're going to be Berserking at full health now, which can be bad. Oh, was he... Oh, does he already have defense skill of 3? Okay, I thought he was going to go to like 17. Okay, so Marble Warriors, Steel Slice Warriors, Fog Warriors, Wrathful Skies coming in right here in the back. Okay, what else you got? Gift of Cat Eyes. I guess that's going to help give some dark vision. And Wrathful Skies, if you don't know, it hits for 15 shock damage if you cast it during a storm. So even 10 shock resistance might not always be enough, but they have so many hit points they can deal with it. Okay, so now he's doing Legions of Steel. It's not going to have any effect while they're in bear form, but this is really good protection for a dude wearing furs. So overall, yeah, this is terrifying. But I'm glad I triggered gem usage. Look how terrifying this guy is. Now all 3 of these attacks are armor piercing, quickened. It's a lot. But okay, so that's going to be a problem there in Walden. And I don't think anything else was too big a deal. So the Crepaon happens. We get some things. We find some sneaking dudes. In Trollland, apparently I was patrolling. Maybe I assumed his army from the Broken Land might have gone there. And now this puts me in an interesting position because I need to get this army in addition to the army inside of here and figure out what I'm going to do in Walden. So, yeah. Um, I can't magic phase my Pretender in any way, shape, or form into this battle because the teleport spell will put me inside of the fort, and Project Self will put me inside the fort, and also not even be in the right phase because this is going to be a regular phage battle as I break siege and send all my armies in. In the meantime, this is kind of critical. I'm also attacking Operi with another, honestly, a shitty force. Uh, Not even has a lot, too many summons, maybe a lot of green lions. And this is just because he has to be in one place at a time. Maybe if he takes the fort at Walden, I can take Operi before he arrives. My capital is going to be definitely in a precarious position if he takes the fort at Walden. That's really, I really have to hold in Walden. Otherwise, I think I'm in a really bad spot. And even though my raids look like they're doing fine, see the little conga line of raids, just so, again, so that I trace income. I'm demolishing labs. I don't think all that matters. If I lose Walden, I think I'm kind of screwed. Because he's killed Tiernanog. He's going to start taking forts off of me. He's pushed back Saramatia, who is now chilling. I think around this time, Saramatia started fighting Ulm. Or Ulm started fighting Saramatia, and they had to kind of do something about it. So what started as a 3 versus 1 is now kind of like a 1v1 after he proved that he can probably kick all 3 of our asses at once. So it's definitely a spooky spot to be in, but, we'll just kind of do the stoic thing and figure it out and move on, right? So we'll see you guys next time on turn. I think it'll be 56, where we have a major battle at Walden. And thank you all for watching, and remember to like and subscribe.